Welcome back to the Message Reviews podcast. Thanks for being here. I apologize for the tardiness of this podcast. I know it's supposed to come out at 10. I'll get it out as soon as we shoot this and film it and get it all taken care of. I'm traveling with my equipment. I got my Rodecaster Pro next to me here. I got my Rode Pod mic. I have most of my equipment, and we're shooting this on my phone. I've never shot it on my phone before. I've used my phone as a webcam via IV cam, which works perfectly, but I've never shot a podcast directly to my phone. So I've got the phone connected via Bluetooth to the board, and I'm hoping that this turns out pretty well, but I have no idea. So if this turns out well, it basically means that anytime I do, anytime I travel, or if I just want to kind of shake it up and move around, heck, I could do the podcast outside as long as I have one plug for the Rodecaster Pro. So we'll see how this works out. I'm hoping that it works out pretty well. This is just going to be like a midweek recap of my vacation. Not like a midweek recap, but like a mid-vacation recap of everything I've gone to and done. Food-wise, we'll talk about the gaming cafes. We'll rate those. And then we'll talk about what we plan on doing Friday for Friday's podcast. Tonight I'm supposed to shoot another podcast for Wednesday at my buddy's studio, so hopefully we'll get that done tonight. And just, some things you can do when you're down here if you ever come down to Dallas. So, first things first, let's talk about Friday. Friday, Quiet Place 2 releases. I will do my best to go ahead and watch that Thursday night, like I was able to do for some other movies, so that we can film it that night and get it ready for the morning, so we can give you a review whether or not you should go watch it. Opening day is Friday, but of course, I love movies, and I always try to go watch the movie when the Thursday night releases happen. And to be honest, I've never seen the first A Quiet Place, so I'm going to have to watch that. I'll try to watch it on the plane ride home for Wednesday, so I'm ready for it Thursday. Or I'll just go watch it Thursday morning, so that I know what's going on. Yeah, I know. You'd think I would have watched it. I did not, so I'm going to go make sure I watch that. We'll have that podcast for you out Friday morning, and then we'll do a little recap Monday or Wednesday, just how the movie did via box office sales and things of that matter. So, here in Dallas, I got here Tuesday. I'm coming back home Thursday morning. We've gone to a decent amount of restaurants, gone to a couple gaming cafes, did some other things with the family. I haven't seen a lot of my family in some of them 2 years, so it was really nice to catch up with a lot of people. But first place we went to was the place over in West Dallas called West Town Bakery. Apologize. West Town Bakery. And boy, I gotta tell you, easily the best taco or burritos I've ever had so far. The barbacoa there was just phenomenal. Like, if I could explain to you how great it was in words, I would. I can't. It was that good. West Town Bakery, highly recommend. Of course, we also went to Tipico's for breakfast. I love Tipico's. It's been a place I've been going to for years with the family. Funny story, actually, my uncles were there, and I didn't realize it until we were leaving. If I would have known that, I would have had breakfast with them. But it is what it is. It was pretty funny. Like, I literally got up to go pay, and my uncle was standing at the register, and I just laughed. Because my uncle thought it was me because he saw my mom's car, or figured somebody was here. But, my dad's pretty loud, if you've ever met my father, and he didn't hear anybody, so he just assumed that it was just a random car that looked like my mom's. It was pretty funny. So, Tipico's, that's over in Carrollton. They've got great Mexican food. Any place, in my opinion, makes their own tortillas is the best place to go to. So you should definitely go check them out. I prefer breakfast there more than anything, just because there is so much good Mexican food all over the DFW area. But breakfast is my favorite there. I'm gonna go check out this other place after the podcast. My dad just called me because I guess him and my mother went to go eat, and he said it was phenomenal. You got to come. He said the tortillas are fresh, made here. They got great tamales. So the minute we get done posting this podcast, I will shoot out over. I guess that's in East Dallas, and we'll go check that out and go rate that and go post a TikTok on that particular restaurant. So we went there. Yesterday, I just posted the TikTok. We went to Son of a Butcher. They've got 2 locations. They got one in Greenville and they got one in Plano. Apparently, it's the same people that own Velvet Taco helped open this place up. And if you've ever been to Velvet Taco in Dallas, they're crazy. They make crazy tacos, like crazy tacos. It's phenomenal. And they're open super late for late night. You need food after you go drinking, that type of place. I've been there multiple times. After a late night. I highly recommend Velvet Taco. But anyways, it's about Son of a Butcher. So apparently, a lot of it's Wagyu beef for the sliders that they make. And it's coming from the same farm. So like you know where the food's coming from. And they've got a lot of very interesting sliders. It reminded me a lot of Easy Slider. I'll talk about them here in a minute. But Son of a Butcher, what I tried was a jalapeno popper slider with cream cheese. Ooh, it was just like, it's delicious. It was delicious. They had a pulled pork one I had with barbecue sauce. That one was phenomenal. If you've ever had pulled pork on a burger, I highly recommend it. I haven't seen too many places that do something like that, but I've seen a few, and it's really good. And then I had their PB&J, which to be honest, I didn't really like it. It was okay with there was too much peanut butter on it. I feel like the peanut butter kind of masked the rest of the flavors, but to each its own. That one's just not for me. But anyways, like I said, it really reminded me of this place called Easy Slider. So back in the day when I used to work for this wholesale food company, we had a food truck as well that we ran. And every once in a while, I'll go run the food truck with them just to check it out. And we worked with these 2 girls that owned this truck called Easy Sliders. And eventually they had multiple trucks. And then now they have a brick and mortar over on Deep Ellum. Or over in Deep Ellum off of Maine, I believe. It's either Maine or Elm. I believe it's Maine. But anyways, their food, I mean, that's what it reminded me of. Because they do sliders. And I remember they had like a strawberry jam slider, which is phenomenal, which is why I said I think the peanut butter was kind of overdoing. I don't think it's necessary. Any type of jam on a burger, if you've ever had it before, it's bomb. I mean, obviously it makes more sense for sliders. I don't necessarily think you putting jam on a full burger is the move, but for sliders, I definitely think so. So I'm not gonna have a chance probably to go there, but in Deep Ellum, if you're in Deep Ellum, you see Easy Sliders, you should go check it out. They got a full bar as well. It's pretty good. Where else did we go? I did a podcast. I mean, everyone has Cane's, I would assume by now has Cane's, but I've never heard of this place called Lane's. It's right by Cane's over in DFW. So I figured, like, you know what? I'll try this place out. My brother says it's better than Cane's. He's wrong. If you saw the podcast, or if you saw the TikTok, I did the flavor tests. We checked out everything, and it came down to the sauce, and that was the biggest thing. Like, I feel like Cane's is known for is their sauce. I remember watching an interview with the owner talking about how they don't really give you too many more options because they do one thing right, people will come back. It allows them to constantly get people through the door, allow you to get your food as fast as you possibly can, especially if you're getting anything from a drive-thru and trying to take it home. There's only so much time for that food to stay warm. So, like I said, they're both good, but I did not like the sauce personally for Lane's. I can't describe why I didn't like it. It's just, I think cane sauce is so good that when you try to compare it to something else, it's just not going to win, unfortunately. But you should try it out and go test it for yourself if you don't believe me. But I'm telling you right now, if you get a chance to try Lane's and Cane's right next to each other, Cane's is better. But I will say Lane's chicken was really, really juicy. It's just it's different style breading. It wasn't the crunchier breading I was expecting that you get from McCain's, and I prefer the crunchier breading. Food wise, we might have gone to a couple. Dunn Brothers Coffee. Duh. I've been going to Dunn Brothers Coffee when I lived in Dallas since I was young, man. Like, I never drank Starbucks. It was you go to Dunn Brothers for the most part. Like, the vanilla Nirvana coffee I had, iced coffee I had, was just, it reminded me just like it did when I had it back, years ago. And I hadn't been there in 2 years, at least, if not longer than that, maybe a little longer, because I lived in Fort Worth for like 2 years, so maybe a little longer than that. But it was great, just like it used to. The atmosphere was really good. They don't stay open as late as they used to, because back in the day, they used to do live music at night. They even sold like beer and wine and stuff like that, so you can kind of chill out. It's a nice little vibe of a coffee shop. I don't know if they'll get back to that when COVID's over, but maybe I would assume they changed the hours because of COVID. Or maybe they just weren't making enough money at night for it to matter anymore. Or maybe they stopped doing music, or who knows. But shout out to Dunn Brothers Coffee. It's probably one of the places I miss the most living in Kansas City. Just having a good place to go to. Even though there are some pretty good places in Kansas City at the train station downtown, which I remember I went to. So I'm going to have to do more of these reviews back in Kansas City, because I feel like I really haven't gotten the experience living in Kansas City that I should have gotten. The first year when I moved to Kansas City, I was busy working a lot, trying to make sure we were prepped for work. And then the second year, COVID hit, so like my job didn't slow down or didn't stop. It actually got worse. I was working like 6 days a week up until now. So I feel like I haven't given Kansas City its fair process yet. So hopefully, when I get back, I'll start doing more of these review style things where at least, I don't know, at least like after I get off work Saturday or Sunday, I'll go check out a couple places. Because like the Big Biscuit's a great place to go eat in Kansas City, which I've never done a review on, which I definitely should, but I haven't, right? So there are so many places I'm sure I can go eat and really, enjoy some food. But I think I'm going to stick to just doing that a few times, because then you start going to all these places and you start just like, because none of this food's healthy theoretically, right? So like, probably should tone it down a little bit, but I'll figure something out to where we can at least do 1 week. 1 week of like a place to go eat in Kansas City when I get back. I think that'd be a good, it'd be good for the TikToks. So we'll check it out. All right, gaming cafes. Let's go ahead and bang it out real quick. Talk about the gaming cafes. So I went to 2 gaming cafes here in Dallas. There is a third, but it is currently doing a rebuild or remodel, unfortunately, because this is the first one I went to. So we'll talk about that first. We'll get into the other 2. Java Gaming Cafe over off of Old Denton. Just north of George Bush. It's the first gaming cafe I went to. I went there a couple of years ago. My first time visiting Texas when I lived in Kansas City. And it was probably the main reason why I ended up buying a PC. Getting to play on PC versus playing on console, it really did open my eyes to what the limitations are on console. And even with the new consoles, there's still so many limitations. They're better, but they're not the same. So the vibe of this place was just, it felt like a coffee shop when you walked in the door on the bottom, and they have an upstairs area where you go upstairs and then there's all the computers, and the biggest thing for me, every one of the chairs was comfortable. The place was not very similar. Like all the monitors were the same, all the computers were the same, but they didn't have the same keyboards or mouse on all the computers. Like to me, I think it's very important if you're going to open a place up that you try your best to stay very similar across the board. Like when you're opening the place up, like try to have everything kind of matching. And then kind of stick to that. Because I feel like if you can have everything matching, maybe you can reach out to one of those companies later down the line and try to get some discounts, But like both, every place I've gone to so far when it comes to mouse and keyboards, they're not all the same. Like they'll have this type of keyboard or that type of keyboard or that type of mouse or this type of mouse. None of them are the same. And I really think uniforming out one of those places is very important. At least to me as a consumer going and looking at it, I like to see uniform stuff. Because it's not like you can't bring your own mouse and keyboard or controller if you're a controller player and use the computers, right? you can still do that. You still have that option. Heck, you can bring your own headset in there. It doesn't matter, right? But to me, I think having those things uniformed out is very, very important when it comes to an aesthetic look. But that's just me, right? Food options at the Java are the same as they were at Easy Cafe. Snacks, there's some ramen and a couple other things that you can heat up, like Hot Pockets and things of that matter. But like, it's not like you can't order like food. You know, a lot of it's just snacks. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because one of them did a very good job about having other things. So, other than that, like one of the things I like the most about Java is I'm a big fan of, what was it? It was the desks. Both the cafes that I did reviews on, their desks were stone or some type of granite, and like when you're kind of set up, I don't know, it just got really hot, and I didn't like it. The other one had wood desks, which is what I'm used to playing on. It's preference or whatever, but that was my one knock on the other two. A very, very big knocks. But anyways, so that was Java. Again, I don't know when it's reopening. When it reopens, I definitely think you should check it out. The use of the computers I felt on that one and Easy were a lot better. The way they have, the way AK Gaming Center, or whatever the heck it's called, the AK Gaming Arena was set up, the way they set the computers up, it's cool, but it was a little more confusing compared to the other ones. On like how to sign into your Steam account or whatever, just because they have you click on the middle icon and then it opens up to another screen showing a bunch of games, but then there's another icon you can click on to open up the files to see really where you're at. And it was hard to like log off your Steam account, but apparently when the computer shuts off, it logs everything out. That's what I was told, so we'll see. So let's talk about the AK Gaming. Chairs, comfortable. Big leather chairs, I like that a lot. Desks, like I said, not a fan. It was stone. They had a lot of computers in there. They had certain sections where they had 5 computers lined up, like for like if you have friends, if it was multiple of you, you can all sit together. Because right now, every other computer's open because of COVID. But they did have a section to where if you came in with a bunch of people, you can go sit with them, which is pretty nice. They're the ones that the ISDs, Dallas ISD probably, Carrollton ISD, like for all the high schools that have, esports teams, that's where they go practice. And heck, they're even recruiting for academy teams. I think they're recruiting currently for Valorant and Apex and Overwatch. So like, you know, they're getting into the whole gaming thing down there. It was pretty cool to know that they're trying to get that going. If you know anything about academy gaming, you know, it's just people trying to really push to get into the pro scene. So you got to start somewhere. But that's it's a good place to go if you're really trying to be a hardcore gamer. But overall, I did like the feel of it. They there have a kitchen and have options for you to order food, like heated food, like all types of things. And the cool thing I did like was you could order from your computer. So like you could do everything from the computer. Like when you go to Easy Cafe, or when you go to like something like Java, or even like GG Easy Gaming, you pay up front, you do all that stuff up front, and then you go to the computer. This place, you can go sit down, log into the computer, sign in as a guest, sign in as your member, and pay from the computer. You don't have to worry about talking to somebody. You just walk in, if no one's at the desk, you walk in and get going, which is pretty cool. Because, you know, they could be helping somebody or something. So that aspect of it was really, really cool and neat. That you know, once you know how to do it, like I could literally just go over there right now, don't talk to nobody, walk in, go sit down, and start gaming, and not worry about a thing. And the other places, some of them you had to worry about, make sure you talk to somebody and you know, have everything set up. Oh, what computer you're sitting at? You know, blah 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 blah. This one you didn't, which is really cool. That was a good thing that they had going there. Unfortunately, for some reason, Modern Warfare crashes all the time, and I mean, to be honest, the internet there and the graphics cards that they have, just Warzone's not a good game to play over there anyway. So it doesn't. It just can't compete. At least not to someone like me who's got a really badass computer. So when I go there, I'm sticking to Valorant. I'm sticking to CS:GO. Sticking to games that I know, or even Apex, right? They're going to run a lot smoother. Now, granted, when I was at Java, they held up pretty well. I can't remember what graphics cards they were using, but I know this place was running 2080s. And I believe so was Easy. But, it is what it is. So that's that one was AK. And that one's right across the street from Java. So it's off of Denton, just north of George Bush. And then we had another one in Plano we went to off of Park. In Coit, and that one was called the GG Easy Cafe. It was the smallest. It was very homey. Everything ran well. They didn't have a lot of food options either. The biggest gripe I have with that one, and why I won't go back, is the chairs and the comfort of the chairs. They got like the smallest chair, and they are not comfortable at all. And comfort's a big deal when you're gaming, right? I'm a big dude, I need something that's going to be comfortable, and they are not. Those chairs, I don't know why they picked that chair or whose decision it was to pick that chair. It's not a good chair. I don't know. And those, they're the racing chairs. So like you could go to Office Depot and get Office Depot's gaming chair probably for the same price. I think they're about $150, right? And they are way more comfortable than whatever the heck I was sitting in. Not a fan at all. The gaming experience was fine. But for me, GG Easy Cafe, if you're a big guy, I don't recommend going there. I recommend going to the other ones. Granted, if you live in Plano, it makes sense. But those chairs were not comfortable. And that comfort, like I said, is like, it's very important if you're going to, rock a 4-hour session, rock a 5-hour session. Heck, rock an all-day session. You know what I mean? You got to be comfortable. And I've never really done a full tour of my setup. So I'll try to do that here on a podcast soon. Go into everything I've got, the compute, more details on the computer, more details on the mouse, the keyboard, the chair, my Rodecaster Pro, all my audio equipment. I'm going to go into more detail on the podcast soon. Maybe next week we'll do that. But, when it comes to what you have, the computer is important, but you cannot sacrifice, in my opinion, one thing. Like, cool, you have a cool computer. I know a lot of people that, they're sitting in camp chairs. But a camp chair was more comfortable than this. Like, for a while, I sat in a wooden chair, and I just had, so I have a purple bed, and they gave me a purple seat cushion. So I had a wooden chair with the purple seat cushion, and that was more comfortable than the chair that I sat in at GG Easy Gaming Cafe. So, again, nice place still. But, that one thing, unfortunately, is the reason why I won't go back. And, that being so not as important, people think it wouldn't be as important. It's important. So that's all I got for today. If we're going to rank the cafes as of right now, AK wins because it's open. And then you're going to have to go with, in my opinion, Java before you go with GG Easy. But, again, it's not open, so it is what it is. And appreciate you checking out the podcast. Like I said, I'll get it as soon as I possibly can. We'll upload this now. I've never shot on a phone, so we're going to see how this works. And then we'll go from there. And I got to go eat at this place because apparently it's great. Did you bring food back? Never mind. The food's here. I will shoot a TikTok here in a minute. Apparently this food's amazing, so we'll go check it out. But anyways, thank you for coming in and watching. We'll see how this ends up because, again, I've never shot on the phone, and we'll go from there. But all the equipment set up pretty nice, and I don't think there's going to be any lag. But we'll go from there. Thank you for watching.